Hello and welcome. We're going to give everybody just about one more minute to join and then we'll get underway. All right, well, let's get started. Hello, thank you for your time today and the interest in Agile trading technologies. My name is Rick Bushnell and I'm part of the Agile team based here in the headquarters in Philadelphia. It's my pleasure to be joined today by two of the founders of Agile, Phil Rosori and Curtis Richens. Additionally, we have the Director of Technology Implementation, Andrew Rhodes, with us. Today, we're going to share a bit about the genesis of Agile. Phil and Curtis are well known in the industry and have a unique vantage point at the intersection between lenders and broker-dealers. You'll also hear about and see the capabilities currently being used on the platform. A couple of housekeeping points. This session is being recorded and both the recording and slide deck will be available. You'll receive an email link later today and they'll also be on the website. Please enter your questions in the sidebar and we will be answering them as time permits at the end. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Rick, thank you very much. And let me thank everybody again for taking the time to join us today. I know we have a fairly diverse set of participants and attendees, be it lenders, broker-dealers, and other industry participants, so thank you. But it really is a pleasure to introduce Agile to the entire industry in what is our first ever webinar, industry webinar. So I will be, if I can go move forward, I will be walking everybody through the Agile story, kind of giving a perspective on the company's history, our mission, why we exist, and then we'll be getting into some specifics, some functionality on the platform. My colleagues Phil Rosori and Andrew Rhodes will be talking both about the TBA trading functionality and also about the MBS pooling functionality. We think this will take us most of the hour. Hopefully there will be some time left for questions at the end. But let me get started on the next slide with Agile's mission. And simply put, Agile's mission is to improve the MBS marketplace. And we aim to do this by digitally connecting all market participants. And in that process of connecting everyone digitally, creating more efficient and more profitable workflows. Step one in this mission, again, as I just mentioned, is focused on TBA trading, which, for most market participants today in our industry is still largely a phone-based exercise. We think that the industry will benefit by a migration off of the phone over to digital transactions and providing benefits both for lenders and broker-dealers. Secondly, our second step in the mission of this multi-step mission is focused on digitizing the spec pool bidding process, which, like the TBA trading, is still a very analog process today. It involves, the use of spreadsheets, emails, non-standard protocols, non-standardized data sets. So there's definitely a clunky process that's ripe for digitization and standardization. So the good news for all of the securitizers on the phone is that we have now introduced a new and improved process to streamline this BWIC process, which we'll be learning more about today from Andrew. So let me talk a little bit about the history of Agile, and it's a story that's 4 years in the making. So we have to go back to 2018, where Phil and the team at MCT realized the need for digitization in TBA trading and began development of a platform to do that. That platform is called TAM, or Trade Auction Manager. And the focus on what drove the development of TAM was really Phil's interest in making the hedging process more efficient, moving it off the phone. But there was also a lot of interest from broker dealers who saw the benefits of a digital trade desk, who wanted to see more trade requests, whose phones weren't ringing when lenders wanted to get bids on trades. By participating in a digital platform, these broker dealers could see many more trade requests. So there was a lot of interest by the broker dealer community to create an electronic solution for TBA, exchanging of TBAs. So that work happened in 2018, and by 2019, it was introduced to the MCT client base. So for all of you MCT customers on the phone, you've been able to benefit from this electronic TBA trading functionality for over 2 years now. As we internally looked at this platform, and the advantages of TBA trading and the impact it could have on the industry and on improving the MBS securities market, we came to the conclusion that this technology, the TAM technology, would be significantly advantaged if it was housed within a regulated broker dealer instead of inside of MCT. MCT's business was, focused on hedging and best execution loan sales. Agile's would be focused more on the MBS securities market. And so the decision was made to stand up a separate company, and that company is Agile. And Agile became an SEC registered broker dealer and FINRA member in 2020. And since that time, Agile has assumed the stewardship of TAM, developing or responsible for all the current functionality on the platform and also guiding all the future development. So practically speaking, Agile now licenses TAM to MCT, so that from an MCT customer's perspective, there's really no change. You're still enjoying the benefits of electronic TBA trading, and Agile also continues to manage the broker-dealer participation on the platform. Now, fast forward to today, 2021, we're now officially launching the company and its solutions, both the RFQ platform, the request for quote platform that facilitates the exchange of TBAs between approved counterparties, and the MBS Pool Bidding functionality. So it's been a long story in the making, but certainly, in our opinion, worth the wait. And we feel like we've done it properly and housing this securitization functionality within a FINRA member, SEC registered broker dealer. Next slide. Just some key points about the essential to know about Agile. Indeed, it's a fintech company that's focused on efficiency and liquidity in the MBS market. I just mentioned SEC registered and FINRA member broker dealer, but we're not a traditional broker dealer. We're not providing TBA trading lines. We're not providing credit. We're not proprietary trading. We're really focused on technology. We want to be an industry utility, a platform that's easily accessible to facilitate TBA trading, spec pool bidding, and securitization. Again, it's all anchored around the platform TAM, or the Trade Auction Manager. And essentially, at a high level, the goal is to digitize the marketplace, move everybody off the phone, and to democratize it. Right now, only the largest lenders are able to access platforms that facilitate digital or electronic TBA trading. TAM and Agile will make it available to all market participants, and we're seeing really great uptake already. Over here on the right-hand side, on a monthly basis, we're across the TAM platform, we're seeing over 13,000 bid requests per month being generated from over 300 lenders to 13 participating broker dealers. So the uptake has been extremely rapid and continues to grow exponentially. And on the next slide, here's a visibility of the 13 broker dealers that are participating. I'd like to take this moment to thank individually all of those broker dealers for all of the input, all of the comments, all of the beta testing that has been done with some for over 3 years now in developing this solution, which again, we believe works for all market participants. So again, thank you for their efforts in guiding the development of this solution. Some key points to keep in mind about why we think this solution is resonating with all market participants right now, and it's really because there's the benefits from the lender side, the mortgage lender side, and from the broker dealer side. From the lender side, we're going to show you some findings from practical experience and some more focused studies that we've done. But clients who are trading electronically versus over the phone can expect better execution and more efficient trading. And the reason you're able to do, we're seeing better execution, is that you're able to do both competitive bid requests and non-competitive bid requests. But by inviting more broker dealers to compete for your trades, net we see better execution for our lender users. There's a much simpler trade reconciliation process, much less prone to error, no fat fingering, because it's all done digitally and there's a digital record. And it's also, and the solution, the Agile solution is, well, it's fully integrated with the MCT hedging platform. It's compatible with all hedging, all other hedging providers, so that, if you're not an MCT customer, if you're a self-hedger, for example, or you're working with another hedge advisor, you can still access the Agile solution and trade TBAs electronically. And very importantly, this solution is browser-based. The other solutions, again, that are constrained to the primary broker dealers and only accessible to lenders with higher net worths, the Agile platform is browser-based, so that it's accessible really anywhere, anytime where you have an internet connection. So a significant leap forward just in terms of the technology that's powering this electronic TBA trading. And also from the broker dealer side, as interest grows in electronic TBA trading, we believe more and more lenders, there will be a larger and larger pool of lenders that prefer to execute their TBA and their BWIC transactions on this platform. Broker dealers are seeing many more trade requests because they're posted to multiple dealers simultaneously, and not just as happens largely today, not just one phone call to one broker dealer. So the broker dealers are having many more opportunities to compete and win TBA trades. So there's a lot of efficiencies and speed. I know our broker dealer partners tell us that having the ability to have access to straight through processing with their trade order management systems is a key benefit, and really makes this system efficient and easy to implement on their side. And also, we are just starting now to provide analytics to how broker dealers are performing on the platform. There's going to be reporting at the global level and also at the client level, understanding and getting better visibility to when they are the cover bid, but by how far out were they away from the winning bid. So many more analytics in development and ready to deliver to broker dealers to help them manage their win rates and manage their participation on the platform. But net, we think this move from analog processes to digital processes is a win-win for lenders and for dealers. And then the next slide, let's see what we have here. I believe we're going to start talking about the TBA trading functionality. Let me see if I can get this computer to move forward here. Okay, I'm having a little difficulty here. Hold on one second. Excuse me, guys, my computer is acting up a little bit. Just give me 30 seconds to get this back on track. My apologies. Okay, there we go. I think we're back in action here. Let's get back to the part where I'm going to hand off to Phil Rosori, who's going to talk to us about the specific functionality accessed by mortgage lenders and broker dealers to exchange TBA bid requests on the Agile RFQ platform.
Well, thank you, Curtis. I appreciate it. It looks like we're still having a little bit of an issue here. We promised that is go to webinar and not okay. Here we go. So yeah, Curtis gave a great overview there. Just wanted to make a couple of comments. You know, as Curtis said, you know, we developed this in 2018, mainly from an efficiency standpoint. Removing removing human error. There wasn't very many human errors, luckily, but you know, obviously moving the trade blotter process from a transcription of you know, of a prior trade verbally done on the phone to something that's recorded automatically in a database of a record that's created by the broker dealer. You know, being that database of record is a no-brainer, right? From a data integrity standpoint. And obviously, since all of you on the phone here are trading, you know, many of you are trading millions or tens of millions per day. Obviously, that is, you know, the data integrity is paramount. So that was the initial reasoning in 2018. And Curtis's previous slide, I'm not going to test the test our luck here with GoToMeeting and go back, but on Curtis's previous slide, he talked about you know, the broker dealers benefits, you know, and that was a big surprise to us. You know, we knew that on the lender side, when we obviously moved to a competitive platform, it's going to make sense that you're going to see an execution improvement. But really the genesis of the competitive nature of this was really brought to us by the broker dealers. And, you know, Curtis talked about democratizing, you know, electronic trading to the small to mid-sized lender, but it really democratizes electronic trading, you know, to the broker dealers. That's what they had talked to us about, and that you know, that second bullet point there, when Curtis talked about significantly increasing volume of trade requests, when the phone call was made, the 7 other broker dealers that lender was approved with were immediately shut out, right? And so now, provided that the lender, you decide to send your trade in a best X format, your request for a quote, to all 8 of those dealers, they're automatically going to see it. And so it really democratizes the process for them as well. So that was a big kind of frankly a surprise for us that it was really something that, as Curtis said, the dealer community wanted when we moved to this a competitive request for quote process. So we're really, really excited to work with them as we were building this, because at the end of the day, it helps you, the lender, from an execution standpoint, in addition to all the efficiency and data integrity points that I talked about earlier. So now if we can move up 2 slides, we'll give it some. Actually, it seems like it's moving pretty good for us here. So look, this slide of why, when if you best X your loans, you really should best X your trade. If we, just the theory of economics and commodities, with the more generic a product gets, the more efficient it should trade. And so if you think about from a standpoint of your loans that you're selling every day, 10 years ago you might have only sold to 5 or 6 executions. Today you probably sell to 15 or 20, and your loan has is far more specific and less generic than your trade, and so it just makes economic sense that the trade, which really only has 3 points that describe its security types, coupon and settlement month, should be best X'd. And so really all we've done here is initially just replace the phone process, as Curtis had said earlier. And if we go to the next slide, just basically what we do is we start by submitting this request for a quote. And so you're gonna, normally the process is, there's kind of 4 communication processes where on the phone you would just call up the broker dealer. You'd say, I've got 2 million UM30s to sell, 2 coupons in let's say November to sell. And that would be your initial communication. The broker dealer would then come back with a proposed price or what we would call a quote in this platform. That would be the second communication. The third communication would be is if you wanted to execute on it. And then the fourth communication would be the broker dealer confirming it. And so we've really just replaced that that communication structure electronically here. And as we've talked about, we it was very conducive to move to being able to bid this out to multiple broker dealers. So you'll see on the left side of this little pop-up box in this inlaid in this screen here, you'll see that it's got this best X dealers. And I know it's kind of small there. I think it says 8 selected. And so that's your 8 dealers. So in a normal, if a lender wants to, if you want to send your trade out to all 8 dealers, you're just going to basically hit submit trade, and that's going to go out. But to be clear, I want to be clear about this, is the flexibility. Curtis talked about how this is a platform for competitive bidding and non-competitive bidding. You don't need to best X your trade, and there's a lot of different reasons why you might not do that. There are broker dealers who have different margin requirements. Some broker dealers call margin very little or never, and there might be a reason there. There might be a reason from a you're close to a trade limit. The trade limits are automated in the system, but there could be something. Maybe there's a financial review, and your trade limits are coming down, so you're going to go to a specific, remove specific dealers, or just send it to one dealer for whatever reason. So we want to make clear that you still have the opportunity to focus on one dealer if you wanted to. And so if we can go to the next slide, the second, this is kind of when the second level of communication has come back. So the broker dealers now have all come back with their prices here. And again, these are proposed prices. These are quotes. Again, this is a request for quote RFQ platform. And so the earlier slide, we requested a quote. Now the broker dealers have posted quotes. And, very simple. We're going to, the systems, although it's not here, it automatically highlights the highest price because, most of the time that's what you're looking to execute to. And just some of the kind of functionality that we have. There's a timer for the broker dealer so that, ensures that you have a prompt return time for bids. Currently that's at 60 seconds. The broker dealers, although understand, and actually some are looking forward to that time limit coming down. And so that's going to basically just result in even faster turn times for you as you bid your request for quote out. So then you can see you've got some buttons here, and you've got request hit, or you can reject the level. Again, like I had said, the third request was a reject, or was a request for hit in my example that I was using earlier. And then what would happen is the broker dealer would finally confirm the level, a few seconds later, and then the trade is at that point the trade is done. And just as you can see here, this is an example. The bid was, winning bid was a 3/4 tick through the screen, and a one, and then there was a 1 1/4 tick spread between highest and lowest bidder. For those, most of you guys, I think, on this webinar are real familiar with trading TBAs. A tick is 3.125 basis points. So you can see that there is a substantial, a difference there. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. That is not the broker dealers putting in different margin levels most of the time. That's just a difference in back-end execution for the given trade. And I also want to talk a little bit about the quote-unquote screen. There's the two primary services which are vital to our industry, which are Bloomberg and TradeWeb, showing the quote-unquote screen, that transparent market. But when you, as the lender, right, when we're talking about your screen, remember that those services are, again, they're vital, they're extremely good, but those are that's the average trade side that's done through market makers. So a lot of times those are hundreds, multiples and hundreds of millions of dollars of trades that are done, large trades by the very large, street firms. And so if you think about you with your 8 dealers here in this picture, you have a very competitive market, right, for your trade. For, in this case, this is a $15 million trade, which is a good sized trade, but a lot of times you might be doing a $2 or $3 million trade. And so, we want to kind of, we're also here to reimagine a little bit on what your screen, actually is. If you think about it, your market, if you're sending your bid out to 8 dealers, that really is your market for prices that comes, that comes back, because we're confident that obviously those 8 dealers are not all colluding to provide one price, right? They're all by definition, they know they're in competition and they're putting their best foot forward. And so that really is, becomes your screen here on that response back from the TAM transaction, on the TAM transaction summary. And so going to the next slide here, as these last 3 slides were really reviewed to all MCT customers on the line, this is substantially review for MCT customers, because you guys are all familiar with the reporting capabilities out of MCT Live. But this is all, but in Agile, as an Agile only lender, you have access to all of these dealer exposure reports, position reports. Obviously this became essential in what we like to call the Fed's week of terror in the last week of March of 2020, when you're looking at, you know, how close you were to your tripping points of the de minimis of having margin called. You know, also there's aspects of 4210 here. You know, a lot of us have been on panels for over a decade now, talking about 4210. We're promised now by a lot of the broker dealers out there that it's in fact coming in 2022. You know, regardless, if it does, then obviously exposure reporting, you know, with mark-to-market reporting, margin reporting, that's all, you know, that's all going to be that much more essential. So you have good real-time reporting in the system here. And then, you know, I'll just wrap up with this, the final slide on just, you know, just kind of the results that we've seen. Look, we were surprised at the execution improvement that we saw when we went to competitive trading. And I want to make clear that when we, like I said earlier, when we look at this 3 basis point average spread between broker dealer quotes, that's not broker dealer A putting in 3 basis points more margin necessarily than broker dealer B. There are different executions that all of these broker dealers are going out and trying to get for you. And so it is, it's probable, not just possible, but probable that they're getting different executions on any given trade. And if they have, you know, what they refer to as an axe, when they really want to buy a given product that you remember, these are bids. So you're entering this trade by selling. And if they have an axe with they want to buy something, they'll be through. And so it really just again speaks to the fact that it's just an absolute superior way to trade, because of the fact that, you know, even if there's no differentiation of margin on the back end, you know, from your broker dealer, the fact that they're bidding 2 different executions or maybe trading for their own portfolio, it's just mathematically certain that you're going to get different executions. So therefore, being able to take the highest execution gets you the better, you know, the better price, even if there's no margin difference at the dealer. So I wanted to make that clear. And look, you know, that translated 1.6 basis point savings over time with the lender, with our lenders that are on the program. And again, this is when you think about the fact that these trades are done in you know, generally somewhere around 40 seconds. That's a lot of savings for the amount of time. Also, from a phone call standpoint, look, like I said, this was initially the reason we went electronic, was to you know, really take that quantum leap of being able to get off the phone and increase productivity for our customers, increase speed of execution for our customers when a client was taking on long positions, getting that short position on as soon as possible. But you can see there was substantial improvements from an efficiency standpoint. So now I'd like to move the conversation to talk about MBS pool bidding. I think that, and so we're going to have our head trader, Andrew Rhodes, talk about and show you guys what really he has developed with broker dealers, for MBS pool bidding. And I would say that this is something that, for those of you guys that are issuers on the line, I mean, this is something that the market has wanted for well over a decade. Andrew's going to talk about some technology that we have that allows this to be a smooth process, regardless of who you're who your dealers are that you're executing to. So I won't steal his thunder. But we're real excited about this. This is we have just launched the MBS Pool Bidding, and this will be a very integral piece to to the whole platform moving forward. So Andrew, if you want to take it away, that would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. And as Phil mentioned, this is something that we're really excited about. We've definitely seen a need for something like this in the industry, just dealing with pools and in the normal kind of transaction. It's kind of a cumbersome process, and we've had ways to get around it, and kind of like Curtis was mentioning earlier in the call, we have spreadsheets, different ways to kind of bring the pool bids back into the spreadsheet, determine the best X. Probably similar to what a lot of you guys are doing right now with the pool bidding process. So we tried to make the design as simple and easy to follow as possible. It's similar to the TAM layout. So the users should be pretty should be able to follow this pretty easily. I think the kind of the main parts of this that I've kind of gotten feedback from lenders, investors, and dealers on the main data points that are necessary in order to kind of facilitate the bid process. And we've kind of just designed it to kind of be in this just in this one format. So the beautiful thing here is that you do have multiple ways to define what your pools are. So if you have one pool, or if you have 10 pools, we're trying to make it as easy and efficient as possible to get those pools into the system, so you guys could send those out for bid from your dealer list. So initially, you could, if you wanted to, you could come in here and you could manually enter in all this information. The things that I want to point out here are the transaction type, which is as a lot of you who do pools understand that you could trade a pool outright or you could trade it on swap. If you do trade it on swap, then we're going to have that functionality to do the assignment process at the time of confirmation of the pool as well. So any trade that you chose to do on swap that was against or away from the winning dealer will automatically get generated in the system, and then you just go ahead and send that out to the winning broker dealer at that point in time to get those trades assigned over to them. So there, like I said, multiple ways to upload to upload the pool info. A couple different templates. We could do it based off of loan level data, or we could do it based off of a bid list. If it's off of a bid list, then there's a certain number of fields that we would kind of request to be in there, and that's just from a high level for broker dealers to make it easier to kind of get an idea of what they're bidding on. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead 2 slides. So just to touch on this pool details, this is the high level info that that we'd be requiring in the bid list outside of the state percentages. So a lot of dealers like to know the GWAC, the average loan amount, and then just any other kind of high level characteristics. And this is feedback that we've been getting, like I said, from lenders and dealers. And this is a growing list. In the market that we live in, there's always changes. There's a lot of different spec products. Like we've seen some spec products for California, or sorry, for Texas and Florida. So we're kind of continuing to grow this list and continuing to work with the dealers and lenders in the community to make sure we have all the different products available and all the different data points available to help you guys achieve the best price for your pools. So this is kind of the bid creation given one of the on one of the uploads. I think when I took the screenshot, I did the add multiple trades function to get these in there, and that kind of goes to a loan level a loan level, and that will define the pool characteristics for you that we just reviewed on the tab ahead of this one. So the beautiful thing about the uploads is that a lot of these characteristics will be defined for you. So you'd have your internal pool number here for any tracking purposes that you guys want to keep on your side on a loan level basis. And then we also have this the QSIP, and that would also follow along with the MIP. So for any multi or MJM pool, those this QSIP and MIP column, that's going to be populated for you and for the dealer. So just makes it easier for everybody to be bidding on the same pool. So specified settle is exactly when that pool is going to settle. I think like a lot of these data points are everything that people that have been doing pools all kind of understand, and all kind of flows through. And then off to the left, you'll see this best ex dealers. So this is meant to go out to all of your available dealers. So the flexibility here in the system is it's kind of not bound by the dealers that are on the Agile platform. It really is just kind of a way to kind of help facilitate your bid process to all of your dealers, whether they're Agile dealer or not. So we have you have the ability to send it out to all the dealers, or if you only want to send it out to a couple dealers, that is the drop down that you could just choose. And say you wanted to send it to one dealer, you could just exclude all dealers except for that one dealer. So the biggest thing here is just flexibility for however you guys want to maintain your pooling process. And the way that it kind of works right now for all dealers is there's an email that goes out. The email has basic criteria of the pool, and then also has a spot for the dealer to enter their spread. So if the dealer goes ahead and enters their spread in the email and then replies back, we have some technology on our side that will actually take those bids, scrape the email, and pull those back into the system. So the way that would kind of look is right here on the bottom where you see this MBS Pool Bidding transaction summary. This is whether the dealer goes into Agile and inputs the spreads in there, or they reply back to the email and it gets straight through. Or let's just say there's a dealer out there that doesn't want to do either, and they just want to call you for some reason. Not really sure I've had that happen, but let's just say that happened. There's a way on the right hand side for you to update the spreads manually. So you'd be able to go in the system and update the spreads prior to hitting, or prior to making the decision on where you want to do your best execution. The whole goal of this, though, is to get everything kind of fed back through the system through technology. So we avoid fat fingers, we avoid mistakes. It's an easier process for everybody. It's like I said, we try to make it as easy as a layout as possible, so it's just easy to read. And this is given, we've had a couple different iterations of this just going through the development process, but we found we landed on a pretty good layout, and I think a lot of people have had positive feedback on it. So I think the bigger things are there's a couple different points of communication. I think Phil was talking about that with TAM. There's the initial spread, I think, that comes back as those are your two kind of additional corresponding points. So we'll send out the bid, and then we'll get the spreads back. We'll accept the spreads, and then after you accept the spreads, that's when the strike comes into play. And then you could accept the strike, and then the dealer will confirm the strike. So just a couple more points of communication through this process, but it just allows for for everybody to be on the same page. Because I think one thing that we found is going through email communication for strikes, it works sometimes. sometimes you want to get the dealer on the phone and make sure you're getting the screen price for your strike. So definitely got to be on top of it, and there are definitely communication points as well to go back and forth if the strike is off screen, or if there's something, if that's not looking right, there's a way to go back and kind of figure that out. So don't need to get, I guess, too much into the weeds with the kind of the with the process flow there. But like I said, I think the biggest thing for us is just trying to make this process more efficient for the lenders, for the dealers. So we're going to continue to build on what we have here to make it easier for everybody to use. And I think we are going to hopefully have some functionality to where all dealers will be able to input spreads into the Agile system instead of relying on email. But that's going to come at some later date. But I think I'm trying to see with all my notes there's anything else. So I guess after you go through the confirmation process, there is, if you did trade the pools on swap, you do have the ability to change or modify the trades that you're doing on swap. So for instance, let's say you have $20 million on with Atlas 1 or A1, but you decided not to use them when you were originally picking the trades that you wanted to do on swap, and you picked 15 million from let's call it our test dealer here. At the time of committing or at the time of confirming, you'll have the ability to switch that from the Fannie position that you had to the A1 position that you have. So that kind of reduces the tri-party necessity. However, if you didn't care about that, then you would just go ahead and you'd continue with the trades that you've already selected, and that would assign the Fannie trades or the test trades, sorry, over to A1. So a lot of kind of different functionality in terms of trying to make it as flexible as possible so we could help facilitate a better MBS market. I think that's what the aim of it is. So that's kind of what we're trying to go. And I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing here, but I think that pretty much is a high level. And then I guess Rick, I guess I could just pass it back to you to see if there's been any questions posted.
You bet. Sounds good. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Curtis and Phil, for taking a little time both to share where Agile's headed as where as much as kind of where it came from and what we were trying to do in the marketplace. So now if you have questions, feel free to use the question submittal over there on the right-hand side. We have a number of questions that have come in. Let's see what we can get answered. The first one I'll put out there was a question about, will it be possible to import or export to or from the TBA blotter?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we do have the functionality to export out of this environment, and then also to import. The templates are they're currently defined, but we are working to have the templates be more dynamic, so it's easier to download in a specific format and upload in a specific format. So yes, those are all currently it's static in the terms of what we need, but we are working on having the ability to make it dynamic to make it easier on everybody.
Very good. Another one, can pooling be done with broker-dealers that are not currently part of that Agile platform? I think you touched on this, but maybe just to kind of reiterate.
Yeah, and again, that's a great question, and something that we definitely kept in mind during the build out of the pooling process. So whenever we're sending out the pools through the system, there is a list for your defined dealer distributions, and it's going to go out to every dealer that you want that email to go out to. So as long as you have your dealer distribution, email distribution set up in the system, and you decide to send it to all those dealers, then we're going to be sending that email to all those dealers, similar to what they're doing right now with their bidding process. A lot of the guys that I've talked to, a lot of the feedback that we've gotten has been it's all facilitated through emails. So this is just kind of doesn't really change that process. This just helps consolidate all the bids coming back into one area instead of having to manage it on your own. So yes, it does.
Great. The next one, can broker dealers get feedback on winning bid levels? I think we spoke this a little bit, but maybe just to reiterate.
Yeah, Rick, Curtis here. I'll take that one. And for the MCT customers on the phone who are selling loans with MCT, you know that we'll provide color to investors who are your cover bids, so they know kind of how far out they are from actually being the best execution on that whole loan. And that philosophy is going to guide our reporting on TAM as well. So the answer is yes, there will be reporting on to broker dealers when they're the cover bid, not the winning bid, but certainly for the cover bidding.
Very good, thank you. The next one, can I provide access to my finance team, or are there any reports for finance?
Yeah, so we do have a set of reports that the users and the lenders and dealers can reference. So we have a couple different ways for the finance kind of team to look at the trades, and even if you had a group of traders that you wanted confirming the trades that have already been done, there's a way for them to do that as well. So we have a read-only tab that shows all the trades that have been done, and also there's a couple different fields in there for the confirmation process if they wanted to go back through and confirm all of the trades that have been done in the system to make sure that they're everybody's on the same page. I think some of these dealers are looking for verbal checkouts. Some of them are okay, just kind of doing email confirmations back and forth. So we're trying to make it to where it's visible to everybody that the trades have been confirmed and that everything's in line.
Very good. Looks like we have time for one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up. The next one was on the TBA trading. How do we deal with ties? Is it iterative from a broker-dealer bid offer perspective? I think you mentioned a little bit about at the end the lender can choose what they want to do with the levels offered, but do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, this is Phil here. So it's a great question, and so what will happen is in the user interface, you'll basically have two green lines that'll show up, and we give the lender, that's key to the flexibility. You have the ability to, well, frankly, you have the ability to not even take the tied best price. If for whatever reason you probably would never do it, but you could take the lower price if you wanted to. So that's number one. We are going to, for lenders that want it, we are going to introduce functionality that the lender can turn on, that will allow an automated, more randomized process for ties, and for larger primary dealers, there is a system out there that has that sort of a system in place. But again, I think the key is the flexibility is for the lenders, understanding that for lenders that do a lot of trades, an automated solution is needed, and we're going to put that in. But to be clear, this would be something that you, the lender, would turn on if you wanted it.
Very good. Well, there are a couple other questions we didn't get a chance to get to. We do have them logged, and we will follow up with you individually. Appreciate the time that you've given us today. Phil, Curtis, Andrew, really appreciate you talking us through it all. Wish you all a very good day and take care. Bye for now.